of the deepest. It's been remarkable. There is a shot of the number 42 BMW, of course, one of the cars that was absolutely remarkable last year, winning here, going on to win at Le Mans. That machine, that's J.J. Leto. York Mueller is on board right now, and you know, they're in the top 5 still. They're not that far adrift of it, but they've had their problems, Steve.
They have indeed. It's a completely different scenario in Y2K than it was in 1999 for BMW. Last year they used this race. They won it, of course, and used it as a tune-up for Le Mans. They won Le Mans. They conquered that mountain. They're not going back.
This is right here in the mix. We are green, and just that fast is leaping out. Christensen, who was turning some just brilliantly quick laps not long ago, is led, and the BMW is slotted into third. And look at this now, down in the first turn, 3-4 abreast, trying to work through some of the slower cars. Well, that's why it gets awfully dicey for these prototypes. Been 3 seconds a lap, and it's been unbelievable. Now the number 42 machine right there, clearing the Viper 92 of that's the Donahue car, which has struggled a little bit as well, and gives them a little bit of breathing room once they get out of the hairpin area. But I don't know if it's fuel related or if it's something broken. I don't know.
Well, he's trying to get it back to the pit lane. Here's one of the Cadillacs. Well, I should say the sole remaining factory Cadillac, the number 19 car.
Well, as I said, something big apparently developing here. We're going to head right down into pit lane for a chat with Mark Scott and Andrew Marriott. We wanted to show you what happened here. Watch as the vet makes a rather sudden move into the pits here, and did so in and amongst some traffic, Jeremy. This is very dicey.
Well, he gets caught out. He wants to go to pit lane, but he gets caught behind that BMW on the outside, and there's not much he can do. So what he's got to do, he's got to check up and let those other cars go, but it was very dicey because he was in heavy traffic there.
Welcome back to the Exxon Superflow 12 hours of Sebring here at Sebring International Raceway. Unprecedented live flag-to-flag coverage here on Speed Vision. Glad you could join us. We are well into the event at this stage. If you're just joining us, currently it is the Audi of right now the driver Emmanuel Pirot leading on the heels of a tremendous performance by Tom Christensen. Second place is the BMW. That's lead lap. They're all in the same lap, and the gap is only 30 seconds. That gives you an idea of how close the battle is overall. In GTS, 10th right now, the number 91 Carl Wedlinger driven Viper from the Viper Team Orica entry, currently leading. One lap up on the Corvette of Ron Fellows, Justin Bell, and currently on board is Chris Neifel, the number 3 vet. And in GT, that really a superb battle continues to build. Number 5, the Dick Barber Racing Porsche, and that is currently being driven by Dirk Mueller, but only a lap back is Johnny Mollem, and we believe now it might actually be David Murray, because they just stopped Dave Murray on board the number 70 Skia Racing machine, and that is the battle in the GT division. So all 3 battles very close indeed, particularly at the front where it has come down to the same lap. Now, you're watching right there is number 6, Hans Stuck, has been in a bit of a battle here, and here comes your second place overall prototype BMW just rocketing through there. But Stuck has been involved in some real battles out there with some of the other GT cars, and frankly the new prototype technology group BMW, the number 6 machine, it's been a fairly fraught week for that car. And right now we have the driver, one of the drivers of that car, teammate to Hans Stuck, Boris said, and Boris, as a matter of fact, I think in qualifying or session before the official qualifying, they actually had a door come off. I mean, it's just been one of those weeks of trying to get everything sorted out.
Well, I mean, it's a brand new car, and they got it done just in time to load it on the trailer and get it down here. It's a beautiful looking car. I like watching it on TV. But, you know, we just had the normal teething problems of a new car, and, you know, unfortunately one of the prototype BMWs backed into our car and tore the door off in practice, and we didn't have a spare. So I went out to qualify and literally got my doors blown off, so that wasn't so good the first day. But you know, it was running good, and unfortunately we had a few brake problems, and we had a rear axle problem, but you know, now we're just using it as a test to get it ready for Charlotte.
Now, you said earlier, that the feel of this car, though, compared to when they debuted the previous model, it feels much more like a race car. I mean, the potential is there, certainly.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. I mean, you look at these Porsche GT3 cars going around the track, and you know, they spent 2 years developing them before they ever got into a racetrack. And you know, this is our first time running, and the car's been pretty reliable, and you know, I think there's going to be a lot of speed to come out of the car once we get a chance to go test it and, you know, throw some setups on it.
You guys must have been pretty impressed when Porsche debuted that GT3R. I mean, they really kind of threw down the gauntlet with that car.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely took advantage of the rules, and they built a great race car, and they're a good competitor. I mean, we've been kicking their ass for the last 5 years, so I think they had to do something because, you know, BMW's been dominating pretty hard. And right now, you know, BMW's got to throw back. We built this new car, and, you know, it's going to take a little while to get going, but I think we'll be competitive.
And are there more of these cars on the shop floor? I mean, ready to, you know, I mean, more cars means more development.
For this, they decided to focus on that, and of course, there's a double stop for the Prototype Technology Group team. Now, the number 10, that's the older machine that's been reworked just a little bit. How's that been running? Sebring being more than just a car race, being an event to happening, lots happens, and the Prototype Technology Group unveiled their new BMWs here. There's the stellar driving lineup with some special guests, but of course the car was what was interesting, and Tom Milner, head of PTG, talked about it.
Well, we learned some things, and one of the things that we want to do on this car is to make sure that we get the car low to the ground. So we started out designing the car to that requirement, is get it to the ground as low as we can. And that seems to have paid off. I mean, we can already have some data that is working better. I think the car aerodynamically is also better. The E46 is aerodynamically better than the E36. That's the old M3. So I think we have a little bit of an advantage there. And if you look at the roof line, you know, the front windshield and the rear window, all that is nice and low. And so we'll give the Porsches a run for the money.
Well, he was talking about aerodynamics and ride height, Boris, and so far with the testing you've been able to do, I think you're on the right track?
I think so. I mean, the only testing we've done is today, but I mean, looking at that picture, I mean, it's some ugly drivers, but a really good-looking car, and if it goes half as good as it looks, it'll be winning soon.
That's why you guys are in sedans.
That's right. Nobody can see our ugly face.
Got it. Hey, by the way, Boris, Rick Cook from Dallas, Texas, just emailed us a question. He's a huge BMW fan. He was wondering, in the GT class, why are you guys running the M3 instead of the M5?
Well, I mean, the M5 just came out again, and we've been racing the M3 for the last 5 years, so it's just a natural evolution to keep on considering coming out with the new E46 this fall. But I wouldn't mind him seeing putting that M5 engine in the M3. That would be a pretty neat race car.
Boy, that would be a bullet, wouldn't it? Absolutely. There's a good look at the number 6 machine. Back out on track, brake problems handled, and just trying to make up some time, obviously, and as Boris pointed out, test session. He was doing some serious data gathering, and we're getting ready quickly, Boris.
And I wonder if the rest of these cars are sound. And of course, Mark Scott alluded to that in the interview we did with him. They're trying to figure out what happened to that car, and they'll be looking at it.
By that car, is that the 10?
Yeah, that's not the 6.
That's the 10 machine, and a lot of smoke, telltale smoke out of the back of that machine.
And Boris said they'd been having some problems with driveline, but he had not mentioned anything about potential motor problems. Peter Cunningham on board. Now that is the last generation BMW M3, and of course, the Prototype Technology Group
will be able to hang on to the lead. Now here, take a look at what happened, and right there, the engine lets go.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, it's hard to tell what happened there, but certainly it's major failure. And so let's just park it. Let's just get it off the racetrack. I mean, it's done. Dorsey Schrader just gave us the international hand signal for it blowed up, is basically what it was. Dorsey, welcome to the booth. Capello, aside from his success, as we now look at the number 43 BMW, Jean-Marc Gounod, who with that stop will take over 3rd spot. Capello, not only a success in Super Touring, but prior to that, number 44, J.J. Leto in the 42, excuse me, J.J. Leto in the BMW has taken over the point with the pit stop by the number 78 entry, and he was talking about, Mignish was, the progression into these cars with Capello coming returning cars not normal. Well, Frank Biela, who qualified the 78 car on pole and is now behind the wheel of that machine, same story, ran in the German Touring Car Championship for Audi. Well, you know, that's the great thing. I mean, there are a lot of F1 refugees here, and there are guys that have come over from touring cars and all sorts of different racing disciplines.
They just saw that margin as they came down Ullman. There is the number 78 machine in second as we watch Leto go through Sunset Bend back onto the front straight. So that's the margin that we're talking about. Leto has already gone through timing and scoring. We'll watch for the interval right now. Here comes Biela. It was at 20. To watch what happens here as they cycle through 19.7. So kept fairly steady.
Michelin will be back in Formula One, and I don't expect that will take away from this type of racing at all. It may actually help it. There's very disappointed for Boris Said, Hans Stuck down there in the 6 car and the 10 car. Peter Cunningham blew their engines as well, so both BMW GT cars out very early on.
So as you look down through the remainder of the results, I just want to say we had a great day here on Speed Vision. Unprecedented 13 hours of coverage for the 12 hours of Sebring, and you'll see lots more endurance racing on Speed Vision with live coverage of the 24-hour race.